Well, now that I'm in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, everything kind of started falling apart and just seems like it's not working for me. Uh, I was in McDonald's editing together some video. I lost a couple days of video because I had deleted it prematurely. I thought that the video editor that I was using saved a copy of it, because I cut the video up into a bunch of pieces and shortened it and all kinds of stuff, so I figured that it copied a new version of it, but it didn't. So I lost out a whole bunch of stuff. Lost out where I was explaining that I heard something outside of my tent, something routing through the garbage back on a knoll on the other side of Riding Mountain, but it was just a dog. So the dog poked its head in after I went, get out here, and then yeah, I just kind of came into my my tent, stuck its head in. Since that it was a puppy, I just checked out its tags and let it inside. And it was about 3:30 in the morning or so when it happened, and yeah, it was raining and whatnot. So originally I was going to put it on a leash outside and gave it some cat food and water, but then it started raining and I didn't want to leave the puppy outside in the rain, so I let it come inside in the tent and stay dry and warm, and then it ended up sleeping with me till the morning. And then called the dog's owner because it had tags on it, and yeah, that was that day. Then I also lost out on a couple days that I was showing where I was camping inside of Riding Mountain. Bunch of stuff I ended up missing out on. But in any case, there's that, and then I've got some other videos that you'll kind of see on my way here. At first there was just 3 or 4 of my spokes on my tire ended up breaking. After getting to Yorkton and driving around Yorkton a little bit looking for work, going to McDonald's, charging my stuff, that kind of stuff, the bike's pretty much fucked. No way around sugarcoating it. There's this here, right? This, as you can see, it's about to eat completely right through that wall because the tire's been wobbling. Tire shouldn't be wobbling that crazy. And so yeah, there's spoke missing, spoke bent up, another bent up spoke, and bunch of missing spokes in here. As you can see, bunch of whole shit ton of missing spokes. Also on the way here, one of those spokes ended up poking through and put a hole into my keyboard here. So now a whole bunch of the keys don't work on it anymore, so maybe I'll be able to make some money and get another keyboard. It's mostly for playing video games on my tablet, really, but honestly, I played maybe 3 hours of video games the past 5 weeks now, or 4 weeks. Starting the 5th week now, it's Monday. So here's kind of a funny update for you guys. I got woken up by RCMP. Apparently somebody called the cops on me because I was camping in the back of a church. Yeah. Okay, so here's a bit of good news. I'm pretty glad that the pastor was able to end up getting my note, because it's kind of raining right now. It's not raining too bad, but I was worried that the rain would wash my little note that I left on his front door there, just telling him that I was camping in the back and that my bike was broken. And apparently, actually, when I told the cleaning lady, the first morning that I was here, I told the cleaning lady that I was here, and then I guess she ended up telling him about me, and he's actually been looking around since yesterday to try and help me out, to try and fix my bike and everything. I didn't know this at all. He apparently, because since that he works for the church and everything, he's got to go through a bunch of hoops to spend any kind of money that he has. And then so he ended up getting together $100 to be able to fix my rim and tire. And then so he just came and talked to me now, and he said, told me about that, and he said that he was going to actually go over to Sport Check and see how much it would cost to re-spoke my tires. I'll probably have to take apart my my rear sprocket so that they can re-spoke it, but hopefully he'll be able to, they might even do it as charity. I mean, that would be the best case scenario. I know if I worked at Sport Check or was the owner of Sport Check or manager of Sport Check, and I heard something like that, I would honestly just get the person's tire fixed for free, and maybe, or the rim for free, because it's just spokes, and then maybe charge them like half price for the tire itself, because that's really the only two things that I need. I mean, I can get by with the rest of my bike the way that it is, even with it all chewed up. But he's gonna help me out a whole bunch. He's going to. He mentioned to me that there's actually a campground on the other side of town. Totally had no idea. There's no signs whatsoever about any kind of campgrounds or anything like that coming from the east. So the only way that you'd know about it is if you went through the town to look for camp. So he said he'd totally let me stay here, but it's out of his hands. It's the insurance that is not allowing me to camp in the back. I guess can't have anybody living on the property, which kind of makes sense. Between that, and he said that he was going to get me breakfast. I mean, I haven't eaten since late yesterday, and even that was still the taquitos from the first night that I got into town here, so they were kind of almost a day and a half old already. Kind of got quite a bit of heartburn from them. But yeah, and so he's gonna help me get my tire and bike fixed, and get get me a bit of food, and get me to the other campground. And I mean, that'll be awesome. I mean, that'll totally save me. And then I mean, the money that I have right now, my last $5, I'll be able to get gas enough get to Saskatoon and then probably have better luck finding some kind of temporary labor in that city. So, but yeah, figured I can't ask for anything else. I mean, all I have to keep saying in almost every one of my videos, I have to thank God for whenever I need something, God helps me out. The universe or God just ends up helping me out. And I have complete faith that I'll be able to get to BC now, just because of the sheer amount of things that keep happening, and like the universe or God keeps giving me handouts, and it's just awesome. Alrighty, so here's my new tire. Awesome sauce, even new cassette. Just slap that puppy on there. And I'm about to go and put her on there. And here is supper. Couple cans of chili. Good old folding spoon. Still wicked hot. Probably gonna pack up. Back in the tent. Get some stuff into the tent there. Well, this stuff cools down. Alrighty, so here's day 5 of week 5. And I just kind of pulled into one of these rest stops here. Hopefully they're not going to get mad at me for digging a little hole in one of these sections here. Probably right about there. Can dig a little hole there, and quick little update, and I kind of started rambling on like always. So I'm before it gets too dark out. Well, it doesn't really matter if it's dark out, but I'm getting pretty hungry. Got a bit of a headache, and I'm kind of tired. Traveled 150 kilometers today. Not too bad. And then so, like I said, I wanted to hit Saskatoon by today, but it'll be tomorrow because I'm about 120 kilometers from Saskatoon, so probably end up waking up a little earlier, as you could tell by all the traffic flying by. That I mean, I could have went way deeper in there, but it really doesn't matter. A bit of traffic's nothing. I mean, should have seen this one location I was at beside Portage La Prairie. Is like right between the 1A and the 1, and is like between an overpass, and you know how there's like those little sections of grass slash bush. I was camped in between the bush there once, and yeah, that was another one of the videos that I ended up losing. But yeah, cut it short and tell you guys have a good one. Okay. So here's with the crazy lighting again. Jesus. Anyhow, so this is day 6 of week 5. It's my birthday tomorrow, so hopefully I'll wake up nice and refreshed and able to hit Edmonton. If I could hit Edmonton, I highly doubt it, because it's about 4-hour car ride, so that'd be like an 8-hour ride for me. But if I can get around Edmonton, that'd be a good, at least good enough for me. But in any case, so I mean, I'm gonna give a good update here. I mean, again, I feel blessed. I can't believe it. Again, so I woke up with $3, like $3.35 or so, and then I wasn't even finished packing up, and this older lady pulled up and started talking to me, seeing that I was camping out, and that I had a bunch of stuff with me and that I had my cat with me. And then so she was telling me the kind of camping places that were around Saskatoon, because I was about it was about an hour car ride or so. It was about 2.5 hours for me, but she was telling me about all the campgrounds that were in the area, and then she ended up giving me a free coffee coupon for McDick's, and then $5. So I went to sleep with $3, and then she gave me $5 pretty much within half hour, 45 minutes of me waking up. And then so okay, then I ended up with that, I was able to, I mean, I had $3, and $3 is good enough to be able to get me at like 100 kilometers is one gas tank fill up, and that's $2.50 roughly. And so I only needed to spend I'm going to close this up a little bit here, because with the light on, they're all coming and attacking me now. And so yeah, I was able to get to Saskatoon with it was 1.80 fill up, and oh no, yeah, 80 cent fill up at gas station, because I'm always gonna fill up. Doesn't matter if I'm not even half gas tank. From now on, after the Yorkton mishap, I'm gonna make sure that every town that I hit, I'm always gonna fill up. Okay, and then so I ended up getting to Saskatoon. I ended up driving around Saskatoon for a good little while, good like hour and 15, maybe hour and a half at the most. Checking out this city. It was pretty beautiful, lots of hilly kind of areas. I guess the areas that I went through was like the university area and some of the richer areas, so it's like pretty nice. And then as I was leaving town, I guess it was kind of going through what would be Winnipeg's North End, or like it was like not a horrible looking area, just like how North End is, but like it's like, yeah, it's still not the best, but it was still a beautiful town. But anyhow, when I went and filled up for another $2, because I was pretty close to empty, I figured I could go pretty close to empty, since that I was inside of a town and didn't have too far to go. And after, I was just kind of driving around wherever, and I ended up kind of driving to the northern part of the town, which is pretty much connects right to the 16, and I was able to leave town real easily. But in any case, I ended up filling up and meeting this like a 70-year-old old biker dude who used to go touring around himself. And so I was we were talking about his cool bike. He's got a Ural. It's like a German bike. And so yeah, he had a sidecar and everything, and he's telling me how he was a 20 years motorcycle teacher, and he toured around all over and all that kind of stuff. And so we were talking for a good while, and then when just a little while just before we were about to part ways, he's like, so here you go, and then he goes and gives me $20. I'm like, whoa, are you serious? Thank you. And he's like, yeah, I used to do the touring thing, so I know what it's like on the road. And so I was like, oh man, this is super awesome. So I had that $6 before that, and then that $20, and then so I went and got a couple McDoubles and some fries, and used that free coffee coupon, and got a coffee, filled up my coffee mug from Tim Hortons, and then went and filled up got my free refill, and then drank the refill, and still got my coffee right up and over there. And as you can see, I'm gonna get to that right away, and that. So yeah, I ended up. I thought that my old friend from like high school days, I thought she still lived in Saskatoon, and so I was gonna stick around there. But then I messaged her brother, and she ended up moving back to Winnipeg. And so I was like, well, no reason for me to stay here then, and so I just headed on out. I forgot to mention something that like I'm trying to do what I can to kind of give back along the way. Like, I mean, there's got to be some kind of balance, you know. And so there was this hitchhiker dude along the way that I seen. He totally ran through some really tough times. I mean, all kinds of stuff went wrong for him, and I was like, I'm not a Christian, I'm not Catholic, I don't want to preach, but I think if you just like put your faith in the universe or God, that it will help you out. And the first thing, because he waved me down and I could see him like going like this, and so I'm like, oh, he must need something to drink. And then when I stopped, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I totally forgot to actually fill up myself, so I'm totally out of water, but I have little, like, the bottom bit of 1 liter for what I would normally use for cooking. I was like, chug that away and just have at her and drink it all. And then I had other drinking bottle. I gave him for the last little bit. It was a little more. It was like that much left in it, and that's the drinking bottle that I used to like squirt little flavor, like a flavor shot in it, and gave him that to be able to wash down the first water. Probably, well, the first water didn't taste too good, probably, but in any case, yeah, I had to gave him some water. The last of my water, I didn't know if I'd be able to hit a place by the time that I was gonna camp out, but I mean, that guy needed it way more than I did. I mean, he might even be still stuck out there with this storm coming by, and I was like, I kind of like prayed / like put my goodwill towards his direction, kind of thing. It's the only kind of way that I can explain it, because I don't put my hands together and say dear God and amen and all of that. I just put my faith and my goodwill towards something like what I'm doing here. And so hopefully he got picked up, and hopefully he was able to, he's got to get to North Battleford, and so yeah, hopefully he's able to get picked up. I have pretty good faith that he ended up getting picked up by a random person along the way, and that was able to deal with him, because he's all cut up and bloody. He got attacked by a dog the night before, and he turned his shirt inside out, I bet, because his white shirt was probably had a bunch of blood all over it. And I mean, he just had one bad thing after another happen to him. And so hopefully me stopping by, giving him the last of the water and stuff that I had for him to keep going. I mean, if I had a little bit of food, I would have gave him some of my other food, but he wouldn't have been able to cook any of that food. So if I would have had like food that could have been like where you could just eat it, I would have gave him the food too, because if he was stuck out for the entire day, and he said he camped out or didn't even camp out, he like slept in the bush. He was like just jeans and a t-shirt sleeping in a bush, and so I was like, whatever, I gotta help this guy out. And did what I could, and so I got faith in the fact that he's probably back at home right now. Probably got um, a ride to North Battleford. But yeah, just figured I'll slap this in with the other update there. The first gas station that I seen, I ended up stopping at, and it was a gas station that was right beside a campground, RV campground, and a Subway. But unfortunately, there's like this AG Fest or Egg Fest, and so the campground was totally packed, just RV to RV to RV, and even like tenting was totally full, and so I wasn't able to tent out there. So I ended up driving down the road maybe 10 kilometers or so, and then there's this lookout point, and then so I was like, well, this storm's coming in kind of fast, and it's getting bigger as I'm heading out, so I'm going to just pull off over in there and camp out for the night and wake up early morning and get going. And then so yeah, I just finished setting up the camp. Got Charlie his food and water. Oh, sorry, I skipped a whole little section there. Okay, so I gotta learn how to just not talk about all of the little things here and there. I gotta start getting right to the point of all of the different stuff, because these videos are gonna end up being super long. But yeah, as I'm talking about it, at the co-op or Petro, I was talking to another guy who was a biker dude who was traveling. He started in BC, went to PEI and all the stops between, and is heading his way back to BC, and we were talking. My bike gets so much attention, and with all my bags, like I got a good like 90 pound backpack or so, not even, maybe 70, 80 pound backpack. I mean, for me it's nothing, and I'm a small guy, so he ended up talking with me for a good while, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to keep you too long, and I mean, the only money I've got left is my $20 that somebody actually just gave me, and I'm just gonna go and get a 6-inch sub here at Subway, and then go look for a campsite. And then he's like, okay, and then he had to go and pay for his gas. And while I'm getting my Subway, I was talking with the guy about the whole my whole ordeal and everything. Did you see that? Mosquito went up into my nostril. Okay, and then so I was like trying to price out, see if I could get a 6-inch with like a combo and whatnot, and not eat too much into my gas money, because I need that money to be able to get me to Edmonton. And then so as I'm doing that and talking to the guy and trying to price it out, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty hungry, and I know I won't be able to make a fire now because it's already getting late, and I won't be able to find a campground, and etc., etc. So I'm like, I'll just bite the bullet and get a 12-inch. And then so I was like, okay, well, I'll get the 12-inch, cheapest one, some ham and whatnot, and then so as I was getting it and whatnot, the dude who I was talking to ended up coming over and gave me $10. And so I mean, I woke up with $3, or I went to sleep with $3, and by the end of the day, just from me talking to people and being, being me, basically, between that and talking to people, I ended up getting $35 just talking to people and getting to know people and letting them get to know me and me talking, and and then universe ends up keep on helping me out. And then so like, I'm not even finished there. I mean, okay, so I come over here and I start camping out here, and then two dudes in a van come and pull up because there was this beautiful sunset. I wish I had battery in my camera at the time. My good camera that I'm recording with right now. Right now I have it hooked up to my little my battery thing here. And yeah, so I took a picture of it with my cell phone. I'll be throwing that on and probably put it right about here. And then so yeah, they were taking a picture of the sunset, and I was like, oh hey, you guys taking a picture of the sunset too? Because I was like in the middle of taking a picture of the sunset too. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, what are you doing out here? And I'm like, yeah, I had to pack up or unpack here and start getting ready for the storm that's coming, and I couldn't really travel too much further, etc., etc. And then so I talked with them for about 10 minutes, and then one of the dudes goes into the back, and he's like, goes and grabs himself a chunk of like a good chunk of grapes, and then hands his buddy a good chunk of grapes, and then gives me an entire bag of grapes. And so I got a whole giant bag of grapes. I don't even know what that's worth, like, really. So I got a Subway sandwich that's starting to get soggy on me. I ended up upgrading to this 12-inch, got a combo with it, as you can see. And so oh, these mosquitoes are just horrible at this location. But yeah, so I mean, and now I just had to sit down here and give another update. Hopefully the lighting setup that I've got going here is reasonable enough. I know it looked reasonable enough last time I did a video like this. And then so this is probably going to be one of the last videos for this series. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times I'm going to end up mentioning this, and I mean, I'm like, honestly, I have to put it all together in one video of how lucky I am. I mean, I've just been so lucky. I mean, knock on wood, I mean, I gotta, like, I'm probably gonna get attacked by a bear or some shit. I mean, my luck's gotta run out in a big way somewhere along the lines, unless if the universe really wants me to do this traveling thing. I mean, there's really no other explanation to it all. Like, why else would people are just handing me money? And I mean, I just feel super lucky. But yeah, I'm gonna cut this one short, as I always say, and tell you guys, have a good one.